couldn't just take control of the match and win it with only 10 points on the board, which should have been 12 with the missed conversion compared to the 34 points for France. They were just missing their superstar in Regan Grace. Yeah, Regan Grace was deemed too much of a St Helens player to play in the international, so...
Coming down with that unfortunate Red V disease again.
Yeah.
Tragic. Yeah.
No, they did have a few England players this time around, didn't they? Give them that. But I didn't see any of this. I tried to find some highlights today. I didn't see any. I didn't try that hard, but I tried. But it sounds like it was comprehensive for France. It sounds like it was a really strong performance. Wales, for all the sort of selection suggestions that they might have had, actually did have a few names out. They had a bit of a mix and match halfback pairing. They didn't look like didn't look ready for a World Cup. So hopefully they'll be able to get their personnel sorted out a bit more for that World Cup. Whereas France were back to where we started with the talk about the men's internationals, really, aren't we? And saying France are in a really positive place.
Yeah. I think when you were talking about the squads last week, on paper they had, by far the strongest squad, and obviously that bore out in the game. They're you've got to fancy them to be quarter-finalists and,
well,
maybe a bit further.
They're in a difficult group, aren't they, with England and Samoa?
The France-Samoa games are going to be close. I would argue. Probably very physical matches, those. I would guess.
France might have wanted to play them first up rather than when they might have had, less time together as a team. Samoa, but yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, good result for the Frenchmen.
Couple of bits of international news. Former Hull KR and Widnes coach Tim Sheens has joined Italy's backroom staff ahead of the World Cup this autumn. And hold on, I need to sneeze. Rugby League Cares has launched an appeal to raise funds needed for Ukraine to enter a team in the European Under-19s Championships in Italy later this year. Ukraine has been given the go-ahead to compete in the tournament taking place in Udine in September by the Ukrainian Federation of Rugby League and the Ministry of Youth and Sports of Ukraine, together with the European Rugby League. However, Ukraine requires a funding boost to compete in the European Championships, where they will face England, Ireland, Italy, Serbia, Scotland, Wales and France. The initial fundraising target of $30,000 has been set to cover the cost of transport, accommodation, kit and equipment and preparation time. There is a Just Giving fundraising link, so if you go to justgiving.com/fundraising/Ukraine-under-19. But what I'll do is I'll put that in the episode blog post, and people can go and help support Rugby League Cares' fundraising efforts there for the young Ukrainians.
Indeed.
We're not going to go through all the squads and stuff that are being announced for the internationals for next week, because it'd just be listing off loads of names of people who play in the NRL or some who play below the NRL. But we will mention all those games later when we do our predictions. In terms of our predictions from last week, I went 4 out of 5. The only one I got wrong was the France-England wheelchair game, and David went 3 out of 5 because he also backed the Combies. That's our international recaps done and dusted. We're now going to move on to a little bit of news and a little bit of feedback from all around the world of rugby league and ice cream. News and feedback, Alan. We're going to start with ice cream recommendations because I am sweating and I could do with an ice cream.
Indeed.
We've got loads. Let's take them in turns. I'll let you go first.
Okay, so Mark W says, huge fan of the fact that the Combies game is so underwhelming you've accidentally pivoted to become an ice cream podcast. Well, anything to explore new markets. Also, no idea about Newcastle, but one for grand final weekend. You wouldn't expect it, but Sapporo, which is a Japanese restaurant in Manchester, has homemade ice cream, and their strawberry is the best I've ever tasted.
Wow. It's, I mean, Emma said that the one that she had, and we're going to get a lesson in how to pronounce it in a second, but Heaven Your Castell was the best strawberry ice cream she's ever tasted. So, yeah. Mark Butler says, Welsh hints shoehorned in here. Pronounce the letter U as you would in busy.
Oh, and busy.
Yeah. And F as it were a V. A with an accent over the top extends the vowel. For double L, make the action of hissing but with your tongue against the roof of your mouth. So, Huffen la Castell equals Heffen Jar Castell. He says he can't recreate the double L sound via text. I can't recreate it via mouth, Mark. So, but thank you for the lesson. I'll have forgotten it all later on, but apologies for butchering your native tongue, Mark.
Yeah, well, it's always a work in progress, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tom Andrew says, if you're in East Yorkshire area, you won't go wrong with Mr. Moo's. Main shop is near Skipsey, but it's also available in the local area. Mr. Moo's.
Now, Dr. Bob was on a mission to find the best ice creams. He got lots of responses from his medical community. So, Madam Rita Dandapani said, sorry, but the best ice cream in the UK is in Newcastle under Lyme, Snugberries.
Donna Wakefield, also via Dr. Bob, says, Demio's, the one at Oosbourne and Whitley Bay, at Battenberg cake ice cream is amazing. Or Ciccarelli, available at Blythe Beach, Scotchio at Tynemouth or Cullercoats. I recommend pistachio.
I'm not for pistachio ice cream, but Emma did have a birthday cake ice cream at a place called, I think it was called Knickerbockers or something like that in Barmouth in Wales. And it was a bit weird. The texture had like cake in it, obviously. Weird.
Just like an Arctic roll, basically.
Yeah, but like mixed together rather than as separate components. So it was like the crumb of the cake was within the ice cream.
No, yeah. I'm not feeling that.
Dr. Sarah Hargreaves said Pooh Bar ice cream Whitley Bay, followed by fish and chips.
What?
I think she would have it the other way around. Surely you'd normally have it the other way around. I'd have it, to be fair, I'd have the ice cream, then the chips, then another ice cream. That's how I'd go.
Yeah, we can't be having this sweet before savoury. That we're not having that. We're not having that. Emma Simpson says Beckleberries sold from a hatch at Cullercoats. No flavour specified.
Nick Lipscomb said had a great Boynesberry ice cream in Freiburg about 30 years ago. Well, that's fucking useless. Well, I don't know why I included that one. 30 years ago.
Luke Mumford, the best ice cream I've ever had was being in Melbourne and Sicily, lemon gelato.
Good stuff. Sarah Mayman said, best ever tiramisu ice cream in Pompeii. Worst ever cactus ice cream. Ooh.
Spiky.
Yeah. And David Hunter got in touch as well, actually, after I'd sent you the rundown, but considering I've kept out all his NRL review ones because I didn't include those results, I'll best pick up his other bits. He said Anita's at Bondi. Not that most of you could get there easily. Some listeners can though. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty to go out there.
Yes. Where's Cullercoats? Northeast somewhere, I'm guessing.
It's quite a lot. If you look at that list, there's quite a lot in the northeast.
Oh yeah, because Dr. Bob asked for recommendations in Newcastle.
Oh, well, that'd be why then.
And then people gave loads of recommendations for places
elsewhere.
Newcastle adjacent, but not Newcastle itself. But Cullercoats is in North Shields.
Right. I'm assuming Freiburg is in Germany.
You've got Whitley Bay, you've got Tynemouth. They're close, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I went to Whitley Bay when I was a kid, but maybe I didn't.
Anna's got a story about Whitley Bay. She went to see New Kids on the Block in Whitley Bay. that tells you everything about. I think was it 91.
Wow.
It was basically like, I think she booked the tickets when they were massive, and by the time the concert came around, they almost sunk into obscurity. Anyway, there you go. That's the only thing I know about Whitley Bay, I'm afraid.
Well, something that we know less about than Whitley Bay is Love Island, but do you want to tell us the update we've had from someone who does obviously follow the show?
Yes, our resident Love Island update from Callum Percy. So Callum says, Jack's got told by someone that he looks too small to be a rugby player, so he replied with, "Run at me and I'll flatten you." Apparently he also used to be in a relationship with Michael Owen's daughter for about a year, and Callum will keep us updated. So
yeah.
We're delighted about that. Thank you.
So she's in the show as well, Michael Owen's daughter.
Well,
as context for people that are just about us level of knowledge.
The only thing I know about it is that there's fake drama running through the entire thing. So that sounds like exactly the kind of thing that they would do. So
there you go. David asked people to tell us about the Magic weekend plans. We've got absolutely the opposite, really, from Tom Andrews. He said, "We've actually cancelled our Magic plans. Putting the derby on the last day on the Sunday makes it very hard to get childcare. We wouldn't be back until 11 or 12, and then there's a school run, then work early the next day. 6 spectators lost." Now, this has come up before with people from Hull, when they've been the last game on a Sunday, and it's made it difficult for them to get the train back, that sort of thing, after the game. And obviously, the Hull derby's landed this year in Magic just because of where they finished in the table last year. Nothing, contrived about it. But yeah, I do always wonder why they don't put the smallest game, the last game, on the Sunday.
Because it's usually the first game on the Sunday, isn't it, when everyone's nursing hangovers?
Or the first game on the Saturday, kind of, as people are still making their way there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Wigan Saints is the middle game on the Saturday. It's not the headline game on the Saturday.
I can't even tell you what the running order is.
No, I only know those two.
Fair enough. So the other ones are in and around it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a difficult one. Whichever way you go, obviously one game has to be last, I suppose. And I suppose if it was first on the Saturday, people might have issues getting there as well.
But the French fans, okay, the ones that are coming are there anyway. So wouldn't it make more sense for one of their games than it's only one of the fan bases that might be tempted to, might have problems with travel or something of them in the match, that are put out, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, ironically, Newcastle, I know it's a straight run, Newcastle to Hull, but Newcastle's further away than you think from everywhere, isn't it, really?
Yes.
It takes longer than you think, particularly if you're West Yorkshire or East Yorkshire based or Lancashire, whatever based. It's a decent whack. It's it's a good, as you say, a good few hours. The argument might be to make the games a bit earlier, start a bit earlier, but I don't know whether that would kind of take something away.
It's still 2.5 hours. Yeah.
It's difficult. I'm not going to Magic this year, but that's been a long-standing thing. It's not based on.
So it takes about the same time for me to get to Newcastle as it does for people from Hull, slightly longer. And I'm coming from literally the other coast.
That's true enough.
So it does mean that Newcastle is, we think it's closer to them, but it's not really. It's just
a straight line.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It is difficult. It is difficult. If your team is affected in that way, and I think it does generally impact the last game on these weekends. The Summer Bash will be the same. When I don't even know who's playing last on that one, but
God, the last game at the Summer Bash on a Sunday. Sundays generally at the Summer Bash were ghost towny, but the last game was always empty when it was at Blackpool. Whether it'll be different because it's Leeds and Leeds is an hour from everywhere, I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, it is difficult. I have sympathy for, the need